Ladies and gentlemen, this is part two. You met Jackie and Lynn and Leslie, the founders of the Tidewater Oyster Gardening Program. In this segment, you're going to learn about the events the Oyster Gardening Program sponsors, why they matter, and the impact that they've had. And then Jackie's going to tell you about the newest event. So please, Leslie, tell us about the events TOGA sponsors.
Sure. TOGA has three events that we feature. Two are annual. We start in the spring with our Tidewater Oyster Fair, where we invite people who are interested in getting started in oyster gardening to learn a little bit more. We have certainly people in attendance who've been growing oysters for a long time, so they're a good resource. We have vendors of supplies that oyster gardeners might need, spat, bags, floats of different descriptions. And again, it's just a good educational event to get people oriented to the idea of oyster gardening. Then in the fall, we have a float building workshop where we have experienced oyster gardeners on site. You come and help build your own oyster float, and you go home with the float you've built, and you can purchase spat on site, and you're good to get started. Then we also have a Master Oyster Gardener training session that we do every other year, generally held at VIMS, and we have certainly the experts in many fields here to give all the technical information about what you need to know about oyster gardening. Those trained Master Oyster Gardeners then go out and are resources within various communities for questions that oyster gardeners may have. So they're your local support system.
Terrific. All right, Lynn, why are these events important? What's the impact?
Well, I'd say the reason we all got started with this was because we were all concerned about the bay and about the oysters. They'd pretty well been devastated by a lot of problems. And we were all interested in trying to clean up the bay. Our Tidewater Soil Water Conservation District had our watershed, one of our watershed projects was at Yankatank. So it sort of was a natural fit. What I think we were able to do with being volunteers and having organizations and other agencies involved was to get everybody sort of at the table so that everyone could talk to everybody else. For example, the health department is an important part of this because you wouldn't think so. But actually, if your water at your dock is not clean, and they test the different waters throughout the state, and especially in the bay, once a month, if it's not clean enough for you to grow your oysters, then they're not going to be safe enough for you to eat them. That's just an example, but you've got the VMRC, you've got VIMS, a wonderful, wonderful partner and supporter. This would not have happened without VIMS. Dr. Jim Wesson was incredibly supportive. Mike Osterley was very instrumental in helping us with our Master Oyster Gardener program. He's now retired, I believe. So it was a chance for people to actually do something on their own to help the bay. They could go out and grow oysters and enjoy eating them, something they could do that would have a positive impact. So we were all in it together, basically.
It does take a village. All right, Jackie, please tell us about the newest event on the TOGA agenda.
About 6 years ago, I remembered that both Jim Wesson and Mark Lukenbach had spoken about people forgetting how to eat oysters because they weren't available easily, and people, although their parents and their grandparents had always eaten oysters, they did not eat oysters, and we wanted to do something about that, particularly in order to help the young aquaculture businesses get moving with their marketing. So we decided to have an oyster tasting event in November of that year and invited 6 local oyster growers from around the Middle Peninsula to come and bring their oysters, and ticket holders each got 24 raw oysters, and they got a little card saying where all the oysters came from and how to look for a difference in the taste from one oyster to the next. And that was very successful, and I think this will be our 7th year of doing this, and I think it's been helpful in getting people back to eating oysters, and it's been helpful in encouraging other people to have oyster tasting events.
Well, that's wonderful. For more information, there is a website, correct, for Toga? What, please, is that address?
It's www.oystergardener.org.
Got it. Okay. Well, this is fabulous. What a contribution you all have made to Virginia's natural resources in the Chesapeake Bay. I know everyone at VIMS and the Virginia Institute of, and the VMRC appreciate all that you do, and 700 oyster gardeners and growing, which is fabulous. So thank you, and thank you for participating in the VMRC Women's History Project.